Hello, my name is Teacher Amy. I work for VIPKID. I'm a teacher and I absolutely love it, and I want to share a little bit about the company with you. Not because I'm trying to sell you some pyramid scheme or because there's a gimmick here or because I need to make a lot of money, but because I want to share what my passion is with you, because you may be in a very similar situation that I am. I wish I had discovered this when they first started. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Amy Jones. I currently am patient, energetic, and organized. I use these three words to describe myself because it's very important as a teacher that you are patient with these students as they are learning a language. This is a full immersion program, so you have to allow them the time to think about their answers. It takes a little bit of patience to sit there as they think about the answer, but you need to weigh out your time because you are on a timed lesson. Energetic, because you need a lot of energy at 3 in the morning. Maybe you teach at 2 in the morning. Maybe you teach all night long. Maybe you only teach one class in the morning. Either way, you always need to show your energy because these students have been sitting in a classroom all day long. Perhaps they just got home, ate dinner, and now they have to do their English. So you want to make this as fun as possible, and you want your lesson to be as organized as possible. So you want to be prepared. I am a mother and I am a military spouse. I say this because I am like you, any ordinary person, and I have to balance out my life. And that is what makes this such an amazing experience because I am finally able to be a mother and a military spouse. I am able to do this and still maintain a regular employment. I am also a graduate student. I am a full-time student and I am in graduate school. I am getting my master's degree in applied behavioral analysis. This is special education for children with autism. So it is very interesting combining my degree with learning and being able to do such a job. So that is a little bit about myself. VIPKID provides the American elementary school experience. These children get to sit on their couch at home. They get to sit on their beds. They get to sit in the comfort of their home, surrounded by family, to get this American elementary school experience. It's not just any English experience. It's not sitting in front of maybe, these programs, these software programs where they teach English and you have to just repeat after a robot. You get an actual teacher from North America that gets to teach you. This is very exciting for them. This is a very, very unique experience that has not been experienced with any other company. You create a personalized and joyful education. So as mentioned before, they may be in school all day long and they get to come home and see your face on the computer screen. They get to learn English, but the way that the class is presented, it doesn't feel like learning. It's fun. It's a smile on your face the entire time. You inspire the love of learning in students this way. They actually do not even realize they are learning and they are enjoying an experience. Meet my student. So bear with me here. I'm going to pull up a video of a student. This is a student that has been a regular of mine, and this is an amazing moment that I want to share with you. This moment was when we had a little bit of extra time in our lesson, and I pulled out a book, a very good book. It is Brown Bear, Brown Bear, and it is a book that is very good that I like to use with my students, my beginning students, because it teaches color, it teaches repetitiveness, it gets them into it. It's a very interesting book. So let me pull this.
From the you say, see a red bird looking at me. Very good. Red bird, what do you see? I see a yellow duck. Yes. And me. Very good. Yellow duck. Yellow duck. What do you see? I see a new horse looking at me. Looking at me. Very good. Green dog, green dog. What do you see?
So I wanted to share a little bit of that so you can see what is experienced in a classroom and how a bond happens. And I found this really interesting. The first time when this happened with a student was when actually this same student played the piano for me when we were learning about music class. They learn about different things throughout the curriculum. I want to protect the integrity of the curriculum, but they do learn about different things just to help the conversation skills so that we can progress in the learning. There are some basics that they do need to learn. And so it was about music class and learning what music class was, and he took his phone, which he takes his lessons on his phone, and he took it over to the piano and he started playing the piano for me. It was just really amazing. I had another student do the same thing. So you really do create these bonds with these students. It's quite the experience. So let me tell you a little bit about the company. The company was founded in 2013 by Cindy Me and several others. They're co-founding, but she is our founder, and she is also a former teacher. There are two hubs right now. Our main headquarters is in Beijing, and then they have a hub in San Francisco. So it is definitely an experience to go through this process and become hired by a company and then learn all of these things. There are some very interesting things that you can look up on Cindy Me and the company that I can expand to as we further your process into the interview process. I can give you a little bit more information on the company and the plans for the future of the company. It does plan to expand to other countries, and it does plan to expand other levels. We only currently go up to level 6 right now, and that will change. So that is a little bit of information about the company. Here's a little bit of information about how it works. So number one question I get, is it a scam? No, it's not a scam. It's definitely not a scam. I can speak from personal experience from the last 3 paychecks that I have received. It is not a scam. It is also not a pyramid scheme. A lot of these in-home companies are pyramid schemes. I know that I see a lot of people looking for work, and they say, does anybody have any good, real at-home jobs that they can recommend? This is one of them. It is definitely recommended. At your hourly wage, you double your pay, what you're offered, and that becomes your hourly wage. So, as I mentioned before, it is not a scam, as you can look at many companies that endorse VIPKID, including Bloomberg and Forbes. As you can see on the Forbes list here, this is a list I have actually shared with my own personal Facebook with my friends, that VIPKID is number 5 on the list. If you look at number 3, it is Amazon. Amazon has been around much longer than VIPKID, as mentioned before. It was only started and founded in 2013, folks. So that shows you the amount of growth that VIPKID has seen and what it offers its teachers. It is ranked number 5 out of the top 100 companies that are remote. So when you ask that question, where is that real job? Here it is. TESOL and Coursera also endorse it, and TOEFL. These are companies that provide your certificate, your certificate for teaching English to foreign students. So I myself am currently working on it from Coursera. We are all over, guys, folks, ladies and gentlemen. We are located all over the world. Some of us travel for a living, some of us are stewardess, some of us are military, and we can have to pick up and move across the country or across the world. Now, just as a side note to my military spouses, you do need to make sure that VIPKID is an approved employer, and where you are located. There are some locations in the world that do have contracts with the military, and you are not allowed to work with outside companies. One of these I know is Italy, so you do need to look into that and find out that there isn't any sort of conflicts before you apply. That is just something that I would recommend. Please look at the statistics. 120,000 paying students. 120,000. Most of these, the majority of these, as you can see, 98.5% of these live and reside in China. Some of these might be Chinese students that live in America, Canada, or another country, Japan. Some of these students may not be Chinese. Some of these students may be from another country. Very small percentage. They are doing a little bit of a trial because they do plan on expanding. Now please look at the statistics here. We've got 120,000 students and only 12,000 teachers. I think that number is now up to 25. I think this is a little bit behind on that because we do grow every month. And that, I apologize, you can hear I am a mother, as I had mentioned before, and so you do hear my children in the background. I am a real person with a real life, and so I do balance everything out. So anyways, as I was saying, we are human. As you can hear, I am a real person. I am not trying to talk like a robot. I am talking to you like a human being. This is real, folks. I really do get my paycheck, as do many other teachers, and there are Facebook groups. In fact, this morning, the first post, because it is the 13th, we do get paid between the 13th and the 15th. The first post, I woke up this morning, I went to get my self-dressed. I can teach in my pajamas. I choose not to because I like the feeling of feeling like I am at work. And I got my makeup on, and I got my apple juice, and I decided to check my Facebook because I had a few moments. There's about 25,000 teachers now. That's the updated statistic, but even with that 25,000 teachers, there's 120,000 students. So that is literally less than a quarter. That is a fraction. That is a small fraction for what we need. That's kind of an overview of that. Talking about the class itself. So when you are teaching a class, this is kind of what it looks like. So before the class, the student has kind of an introduction to your lesson before they come to your class. So they have a little bit of preparedness. Once in a while, you will get a student that is not prepared, or a student that has not grasped the concepts in the introduction objectives. That's okay. That's why this is one-on-one, and you pace at that student. Sometimes you may not finish a class. As I have taught more now, I have been with VIPKID since July. I have become kind of more, it gets easier. It takes time to get used to and adjusted to the time and pacing yourself, but you see when you have regulars that some regulars struggle a little bit more with reading, and so you want to spend less time on the other things, and so you can add up that time to spend on the reading, so that you can help them through that and kind of concentrate on the parts where they're struggling. And then after they are done with your lesson, they have a homework assignment to reinforce what they have learned. They do have an interactive assignment as well as a workbook. So it is very much a well-rounded program that is completely full immersion, so you do not need to speak Chinese. In fact, they only want you to speak English in these courses. There's a global impact. So I want to start talking about the Jack Ma Rural Education Project. It was a trial run, and it was successful, and so now they have implemented this program. Only a few select teachers may teach this program. These teachers must have a certain amount of years of brick and mortar experience as well as experience with VIPKID, and they will watch your experience as well before they offer this to you. This program is for children that are in more rural areas that are not as economically endowed as other children, as families are, and so they cannot afford to have these regular lessons, and so this foundation goes and sets up in the classroom, so you teach many students at once. And they do kind of want you to have a little bit of fluency there because there is a need to talk to the actual teachers in that classroom so that you can understand each other. This program, the VIPKID program altogether, is it's new. It's a one of a kind. Many, in fact, other companies are trying to steal the material that is in VIPKID. And with that being said, they actually want you to, they have very strict regulations on your students, on who they are. If you have an adult sitting at your camera on the other side, you definitely need to report that, because other companies are trying to steal the information from. That is why I'm not going to cover too much of what an actual class looks like, just to protect the copyright of the material. So here's a wonderful outlook on what VIPKID represents: teachers, students, technology, and curriculum. It really does. Teachers, we have teachers all over that collaborate. Right now I am currently host of a group on Facebook for our local teachers just in our state, and there's also a state group. Because our state is rather large and spread out, it makes it difficult for teachers to meet on a regular basis. So we have created monthly meetings that we will have themes like rewards. We will talk about Chinese culture, that we have some teachers that went to China or have taught in China, and have a lot of experience to share with the other teachers, so we can learn about their cultures, the do's and don'ts of their cultures. You don't want to offend them not knowingly, and things to that nature. Students, the students are amazing. I have showed you just a clip of one of my students. I have grown bonds with my students and with their families. I should say that this should say also students and families, because from one mother to another, I am able to communicate with other mothers and bond with them and understand, because I have children that are in a similar age group, and I want the same things for my child as they want for their child. Technology, the advances of this technology is amazing. Some of these rewards they are working on to become interactive. It is currently not everything is interactive. Some lessons are interactive where you can drag and pull things. They are working that up. Right now, everything is mostly, I would say about 80% is 2D. And the curriculum is amazing. It is based on the U.S. core curriculum. There are sight words. There are blending. There are nonsense words that just help with the pronunciation. It really is a well-rounded curriculum. You can use this curriculum for kinesthetic, for visual, for audio. Learners, that it really does approach for everybody. Myself, I try to reach every aspect of learning when I teach with these slides. I will have the student circle. I will have the student actually show movements. We use something called TPR, Total Physical Response. It's something that I will talk about if you choose to further pursue this avenue. It is literally, you learn basically how to speak using your hands and your expressions, accompanied by the words. And so it's amazing to watch a student. It is so rewarding to watch a student start where I call it parroting, where they repeat everything that you say because they don't quite yet have a comprehension of the language, and they're just trying to say the words. When you see them start that way, and then all of a sudden they have that light bulb, that aha moment, and they're responding and independently speaking, it is just like you jump up and down and cheer with them. You congratulate them. You celebrate with them. It's amazing. I know that teachers, speaking of celebrating, I want to go back to bonding with your students. I know that many teachers will celebrate their birthday parties with the students. They will make a cake, and they will all eat the cake together. So there definitely is a wonderful experience at Story here. Here's what a typical classroom looks like. Yes, it will get messy. It will get unorganized. You will have props everywhere. Some people don't have a lot of props. Some people will just use a whiteboard, some flashcards, and a puppet or something to that nature. You don't need a lot of props. It's not a requirement. It's definitely if you want to. It depends on how you want to control your classroom. It really is, you're an independent contractor. You're your own brand. You brand yourself. You teach your class how you teach your class. So as you can see that they have, some teachers have a board behind them. Some teachers just put up a fabric, because that is all you see in the camera, is that portion of behind you. And so you do want to make sure that it is welcoming and kind of welcoming and motivating kind of background. I bought an oil pan at Walmart, and it acts as a magnet board, and I put magnets behind my props. So I just stick them on that magnet board, and it's right next to me on my desk. My desk itself is magnetic, so I have a lot of my props with magnets, and I can just stick them on there, and that way it organizes, and I have them right there, so that if I have like a last minute class, I don't need to, that I didn't have time to plan for, or I didn't plan for, because it's a last minute class, I'm able to have all my props at hand and just grab them. These are the different time zones. This is just one example. I will show some later. This is Central Time. I personally am Pacific Time, but these are the, if you are Central Time, these are the hours VIPKID's teaching schedule is during the school year. We will get into that. I will show you some more slides for the different time zones and talk more about the scheduling. Your contract is 6 months long. It is for the benefit of yourself and for VIPKID. They don't want to do a long contract because they don't know if this is going to be working out for you. You don't know if this is going to work out for yourself either. So it's kind of a trial run, So every contract is 6 months. So when you renew every 6 months. So when you first get hired, when you first have your first interview, that is when you will know how much you're going to get paid. They will put something out on the table for you. They will say, okay, we will pay you this much, and you can agree, or you can negotiate your payment. That will depend on your experience. That will depend on how well you do in that class, mainly on how well you do in that class. That's mainly what you need to worry about. And on top of that, it will also depend on your credentials. Do you have your certificates? Do you have teaching certificates? Do you have a degree? What is your degree in, and so forth. So then you have your bonus perks. So if you start your class on time, classes I mentioned earlier are 25 minutes. You start your class on time, you get a $1 bonus. If you end your class, you get another $1 bonus. So that's an added $2. That second bonus is not guaranteed. It only depends on how many classes you teach. So if you teach 32 classes or more, you get 50 cents. At the end, if you teach, I believe it is 45 classes or more, then you get your $1. So basically, this is per class, not per hour. So you can get anywhere starting out between, if you want to do it by hour, that would be teaching 2 classes back to back. You can make between $14 an hour or $22 an hour. And that's your base pay. So that's $7 to $9, that's your base pay. That's in case you don't teach over 32 classes. So the lowest you can get is 14 to 22 an hour. The taxes are not withheld because you are an independent contractor. You do your own taxes. With this, I recommend that you go and talk to someone who does your taxes. If you're military associated, you can call up Military OneSource, and they do have tax consultants you can ask for as soon as you talk to them. Ask for a tax consultant and you can explain your situation. I personally live in a state that does not have state taxes, so it's a little bit more simple for me. You can choose to pay your taxes 4 times a year. You can choose to pay them once a year. It's up to you on how you choose to do it. Life as a teacher, no lesson planning or grading. Well, this is, to an extent, this is true. You do not create these slides. You do not create the lessons that they're in. You do not have to do this, which is a huge amount of time if you did. But you do need to look them over before. If you do not know what to expect, if you have not taught that lesson before, you do need to kind of glance through the PowerPoint. You do have the option to do that. They do allow you access to the PowerPoints beforehand. So you can look at it beforehand and kind of prep for it. If you need certain props, if you need a strategy for a certain student, maybe a student has difficulty in reading and you want to jump around a little bit, you can do that. I don't do it on a regular basis, but there are those exceptions where the student really does need more emphasis in reading, and so we will start out that way. We will skip to the slide with the reading and we will focus on the reading because sometimes it's easier when they're so late. It's harder to do a reading at the end of the lesson when they're so tired because you're sitting there for 25 minutes of learning. If you get the reading out of the way, which is the most strenuous part of it, and this student typically is tired in their lesson, that is also a good strategy to use. That way they have the lighter information towards the end. It's a little bit easier. So really just, you can cater it to your student. It's very, like I said, you're an independent contractor. You make your own brand for your class. It's a mix of regulars and new students. So in the beginning, you're going to start with trials, most likely. these are students that are not quite enrolled into the program. They are taking trial lessons. Most of these students will either show up or they won't. The sales team has gotten pretty good about making sure that they ensure that the student does show up in that slot. That gets a little bit more complicated, and I can go more into that if you're deciding to join. This is just a brief overview. You can take online workshops. They are available to you. So if you have questions or there's problem areas, there's definitely workshops in most areas for certain levels, for certain students, for rewards, for behavioral struggles, for just managing as a parent, having children. There's many, many workshops. And this is most flexible to your scheduling needs. That is the most important thing I want to emphasize. I am a graduate student. I am a parent of a special needs child. I am also a military spouse. I cannot tell you how difficult it is as far as scheduling goes. I am all done with my work, with teaching my classes, and I don't even view it as work. I'm all done teaching my classes before they wake up and get ready for their bus to go to school. So it is amazing. It is something that is definitely very flexible. You can teach as many classes as you want. You can do all-nighters if you want on the weekends, and you can pull in $2,000 to $3,000, $4,000 a month. You can be flexible and just need $500 to $1,000 and just teach 1 or 2 classes before work every day, and that's an extra easy $500 in your pocket. So it's up to you on your flexibility. That's what makes this job so amazing. Is it comes on that. You do build up your lessons. It doesn't happen right away. It does take some time. So I do want to stress that. Don't walk into this thinking that, oh, you're going to have a ton of classes right away. It does take some time. It may take a month or two. Some teachers, they take a long time. That's why I'm here to mentor you through this, because I can give you some tips. For me, I was able to get classes right away, and I was able to build up my regulars pretty quickly. I can give you some tips on how to do that. There are definitely some ways to do that. How to apply. So here are your main needs in order to even consider applying. You need high-speed internet, so you need probably, I would recommend anything much faster than 10 megabytes. You need an Ethernet cable. If you have a computer or a laptop that does not have an Ethernet port, that is no problem. You can go to Amazon. It's maybe $10, and you can get a USB converter, and it has a USB on one end, so you plug it into your computer to the USB port, and on the other end it has the Ethernet port that you can plug your Ethernet cord into. It works. I plugged it in both my Mac and in my PC. I have had no issues. It's amazing. I don't even know how they make it work, but it works. It's like I don't know, maybe I'm reaching that generation where I'm like awed by it. I guess I was the first generation to awe my parents as far as knowledge of computers, and now there's things that are awing me. Not to reveal my age or anything. So I was speaking of ages. I do kind of want to go off on a little side tangent. There are a wide variety of ages. We do get this question as well often, is how old are the teachers? We have teachers that are 23 all the way up to their 60s. We have definitely a wide range of ages. So it is definitely something, as long as you meet the criteria of what they're looking for, your age does not matter, your color does not matter, your weight does not matter. Just fulfill what they are looking for, be able to get that lesson entertaining, and that's what matters. So don't worry, cultures are vain. They are vain, quite frankly. But you don't let that impede on you. As long as you can do what you're trying to do, don't let that bother, don't let that be in the back of your head. Oh, I wonder if they have a problem with how I look. Or, if you're sloppy, yes, that's what matters. Don't be sloppy, be clean cut and present yourself. Be presentable in a professional manner. It doesn't matter. Anything else doesn't matter. We have some of our top mentors and teachers. They're of all diversity. They want an American lesson. That's what matters. You need a Chrome browser. You need to be able to have Chrome browser on your computer because that is what VIPKID works best with. You definitely need to go and get a webcam. Go buy one. Go buy one for your interview, because that will be a problem. You need good lighting. Go get some lamps at the thrift store or something. Go get a $10 light. Bright light that you just clip onto your computer. I can give you some links for some recommendations. Basically, expect to pay out a little bit of money beforehand, but here's the thing. You can return things. So if the webcam, if it doesn't work, return the webcam. Get it on Amazon, just return it. Didn't work out. Headset, same thing, $20 at Walmart. You can get just a basic headset. Don't go out and buy the $200 headset. You don't know if you're going to get hired. So just get the $20 headset. If you already have one, great. There you go. You don't even have to buy anything. And that headset needs a microphone. If you are going to buy a headset that you are planning to keep and use as teaching, even if you don't get hired regardless, then go get one that has a mute button on it. Make sure you have a mute button. You will thank me later. That is definitely a huge must. You need 1 year of teaching experience. This teaching experience can be a brick and mortar school, the obvious answers, but it also can be a preschool, it could be daycare, it could be homeschooling. These are all experiences with teaching. Just you have to have the experience of being able to have students learn a new concept from you. Just that experience. A bachelor's degree in anything. My bachelor's degree is in graphic design. It does not have to be correlated with education whatsoever. You just need to show that you have gone through schooling. They want to know that you have gone through and you have done the college experience. When you have a bachelor's degree, you have done most likely your general education classes. You have done English, math, these are general education, then you have your electives, but there's some main core classes in there. That's what they want to see, that you have your bachelor's degree, you completed these courses, because that's what they want. They want quality teachers. There could be a teacher that has had 25 years experience, 50 years experience. Let's even say 50 years experience in the classroom. But that does not necessarily mean that they want that teacher. That teacher could be just sitting there with very monotone. This is the word the, repeat after me, the. You could be very monotone in your teaching, and they're not going to want you. You could have many experiences. They want a certain type of teacher. They want that you've had exposure to a U.S. or Canadian school system. You have a North American accent, and you know what it's like to be in a school in the U.S. or Canada, because they want this, because their curriculum is based off the core curriculum. I apologize if you hear my children in the background. There are 4 easy steps to this process. I'm just going to go an overview, because if you sign up with me, you will have me walk you through all of this. Steps include your application screening, which this is where we talked about earlier, is the bare necessities that you'll need in order to work for VIPKID. They'll just ask you basic questions about your degree and all of that. Then once you pass that screening, they'll say, congratulations, schedule your interview. Schedule it for the furthest day out. Now, when I went and I applied, I did not have a mentor. I just did this on my own. I saw it on a Facebook page. Someone mentioned it. I did not use their link. I just signed up. And then I went through the interview without any mentor. I almost did not pass my interview. I did not have the correct lighting. I did not understand what TPR was, which is total physical response. I did not have any of this. So I did pass it, but I barely made it through the cut. What I did was I reached out on YouTube, and I started looking at these YouTube. There were not as many when I joined. There were not as many YouTube videos as there are now. And I will get into that. But I started looking at YouTube videos, and I found a couple mentors that were I found from my own experience were accurate to what I wanted to do. And so I listened to them. Then I reached out to one of them, and I emailed back and forth with one of them, and they helped me prepare for the mock class 1. Now let me tell you, you usually go through mock 1 and mock 2. I went through mock 1 and was hired immediately. This is not common. This is very rare. So I was very, very, very lucky. That was probably because I was prepared. I had someone preparing me for that mock class. So I was hired immediately. And after that, I filled in all my information. I gave them the documents right away, and I started. It was only, I want to say it took about a 2-week process because of where I scheduled my mock 1 and my interview. I scheduled them out so I could have time to prepare. You could honestly get hired fairly quickly. You could get hired within 2 days if you are able to do all this and pull it off. I would recommend giving yourself time to prepare give some time to meet with me, and we talk about what to expect, what you should do. You need some time to prepare your classroom. You want a background that's presentable. And I don't want you spending a lot of money because you don't know if you're going to get hired. So I have some good key tips on that, as well as some tricks, basically some do-it-yourself tricks that will help you prepare for a wonderful, welcoming classroom and a good class. So that's a little bit about that. This is what you need. I will, if you look below, is my link for signing up. Go ahead and click on that link, and it will direct you to the VIPKID page where you can do your screening. And then you'll get your email if you pass your screening for scheduling an interview. If you have already signed up, there is my code right here, the 03IJVB. This code is my code, so you can email, I can give you the email as well to VIPKID and let them know, hey, I signed up, but this is my referral coach, and you can put in my referral code. After you have done that, send me an email, let me know that you have done that, and I will walk you through the process. I will walk you through the process of getting hired. So there's some extra things that I did want to talk about. Here's an overview of your schedule and what it looks like. This is just an example. Those red zones are those hot classes. You will most likely, guaranteed, always get those filled. There are strategies to this. This is just an example of what it looks like. This is what mine looks like on my portal. I can print these out and put them on my wall and see them, and I know what to expect. Teachers are everywhere. We are a community. Because it is online, we try to do a personal stay to it, so we do have meetups. In Washington, we have, like I said, we have groups all over, and so we have one main Washington group, and then we have groups for our areas, and we actually have a meetup planned this month, and it's going to be fun. We have a bunch of teachers. We just meet at a coffee place, and we have our families can come. It's very, very casual, and it's a good, a good way to meet other teachers and see what their tricks are. It's great. So here, as I expressed before, I said I was going to show the different time zones. Here are the different time zones. This is for Hawaii time. These are the hours that you can work if you are in Hawaii. So you can work from 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. and also from 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. If you are in Pacific Standard Time like I am, your hours of operation, you can work on the weekdays from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. or from 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. on the weekends. So here you go for the Mountain Standard Time and the Eastern Time. VIPKID is rewarding. Let me tell you why. Because they will love you. Let me show you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. I love you.
I wanted to show that because they do. That was this week, and that was one of my regulars, and I cannot tell you how rewarding it was to hear my students say, I love you. Thank you, teacher. I love you. That alone, that makes this job worth it. Why do you want to stress out selling things for other people? Then you have the guilt of trying to sell something to someone. This is something I'm not even trying to sell to you. I'm trying to share something that has been life-changing for me. It's been a life-changing experience, and I want to share that with you because if you're in a situation like mine where you have children that need you a little bit more, I have a special needs child, that have situations where you have to set yourself aside a little bit more, and it's hard to maintain that job. And then you also need that 8 to 5 job. If you're a military spouse, you understand when I say you move around everywhere. You may not have family to watch your kids. How are you going to work? Daycare costs are so high. You almost practically pay into your daycare. That's all you're working to pay for daycare. In this situation, you can work at home at any hour while they're sleeping, and you don't have to worry about daycare. And it's rewarding. That's mainly what I want to share with you. They will love you. Sometimes I have those mornings, to be human with you, I have those mornings where I'm like, oh, I have to get up at 3 in the morning. I'm Pacific Standard Time, so I have one of the hardest schedules probably out of all the times. I go, oh, I don't want to get up. I get up. I get my makeup on. I tell you, I'm a zombie. I'm walking around. I go to bed between 6:30 and 8 p.m. at night. So I do get, a fair share. I get 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night. Still getting up at 3. But I still am tired, And so and then I turn on my spotlights. I turn that computer on. I log into that portal. And I have that face staring at me. And it's just like a light bulb switch. It's like, oh yes, I love this job. And you end that lesson, you get through all your lessons, and when your last lesson is like the one I just showed you, where they go, thank you, teacher, I love you, it just makes your whole day. Then you get to go look at your own children's faces. If you don't have children, I apologize, I have children, so I'm talking about my own personal situation. If you don't have children, you get to get up and go to work. I have friends that don't have children that work for VIPKID, and yes, I have friends that have bonded with through this job, because we all we understand each other. We have this bond with each other. It's quite the experience. So I just wanted to share that with you. If you have any questions, please email them to me. I have posted my email below. You can email those questions, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. I try to get back to you within 48 hours. I am human too, so I say 48 hours because there might be some situation where it lasts a little bit longer than usual. I will try to get back to you as soon as possible, especially if you'd like to join and you have questions about your interview. And please, when you email me, let me know when your interview is. And I want to send you, this is where it's something that's very important I want to share with you, is YouTube videos. You want to make sure you are not following incorrect YouTube videos. There are so many out there. There are teachers that are not really teachers that are out there putting YouTube videos. They've been fired. Until I'm speaking, I know for a fact there's videos out there that these teachers have been fired because they joined under false pretenses. And so they are still putting videos out there trying to get money in some way, another way. They're trying to trick you into something else. So I just want to put that out there. There are some very false videos out there, as well as videos that are inaccurate. These are teachers that may have only been working there for a week, or maybe they are on the verge of losing their contract or what have you. You don't know the information that you're getting is correct. Basically, it's the same. You treat this as any kind of information. You want to make sure you're getting your accurate information, that you are getting the information you need that prepares you to get hired, because this is the job that you want. So I will, collaborate with you and send you some videos that are VIP approved, that speak to what to expect from my own, combined with my experience, that I will be able to assess and be able to say, yes, this is the video you should watch. I haven't started making videos quite yet. I'm just making this as just the start of my videos, just because I wanted to concentrate on teaching and getting that experience first. And now that I'm there, I've been there for a little bit. I've been doing a lot of this. I've taught over 600 classes, and so I have reached that point to where I'm saying, okay, I can share some information now. After teaching 600 classes, I'm still learning. It's a learning process. I think we never stop learning, even those that are on their third contract, meaning they've already signed their contract 3 times, those 6-month contracts. They still take workshops. They are for everybody. So it's always a learning process. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Thank you, and please check your emails in my response. Make sure they didn't go into your spam, I hope you sign up. If you have any questions further about anything, if I have not answered any questions, please feel free to send me an email, and I will answer them as best as I can. I appreciate your time, and I hope that this video answered some of your questions. Thank you.